Right, hello everyone. Welcome to another interview today. Not done one for a long while, but I'm pleased to be joined by Christian Williams again. Christian, how are you today?
Good, thanks. Thank you very much. Just come back from the farm, so now great. Sat here with a green tea and looking forward to our interview.
So to start things off, we're somewhat coming to the end of racing being in lockdown now. We've been given dates for flat racing to come back in June, and of course the jumps in the early stages of July. But what's the whole situation been like for you between when we got lockdown in March to now?
We haven't done too much, to be honest. As soon as I realised that most of the staff are safe, then most of them furloughed, nearly all of them. Then so just been down the yard myself, really pottering about with a few horses, and I think we'll do all the painting and the spraying when everyone comes back in. We'll try to keep everyone's wages the same as they were, and we'll do a few extra hours when we're in there to tidy the yard up and everything. So we'll just wait to do that as a team. I think that'll be maybe July time when the majority of the horses are back in.
So in terms of just quickly reflecting on last season, a good season for you, of course, the Welsh National being the pinnacle of last season. But in your opinion, how did you sum up last season, through your opinion anyway?
I thought it was going to be tough going into the season. I thought that the Welsh National could be too much of a fairy tale to have happened, and Potter's Corner won his big race the year before. So to back that up again, and I think he took 5 or 6 hikes in the weights the year before that. So I was mindful that he could struggle last year. So I had my hopes pinned on Limited Reserve being our ITV horse, as you say, going into last season. So that was brilliant because we had such a good year the year before. We got into a great rhythm the year before after Christmas, and we never missed a beat every time. Me and Clive used to go racing the year before last, and we just never come back without a winner after Christmas. And I thought that would be really hard to replicate last year. So I fairly accepted going into last year that it was going to be a tough season, and if I could get anywhere near 20 winners and try and win one race on ITV, it would have been brilliant. So nearly everything really was geared towards this season now. So I'm looking forward to this season because like I said, I thought it could have struggled last year, but it went brilliant. But I don't think I got into the same rhythm last year as we did the year before. And so I'm just really looking forward to this season. And the sponsorship with NAF seems to go from strength to strength. Then hopefully they'll bring out a new product or two next year. And I only started feeding Dodson Horrell in September or October of last year. So I'd be disappointed if I didn't have a better working relationship with Dodson Horrell going into this season. And I'd be disappointed if the horses, it didn't have a better effect on them. And like I said, I could work closer with Dodson Horrell as well. I'd be disappointed if I couldn't. So there'd be two strong things going into this season. I think I got a good team of horses. We're still building. It's only our second year in, and obviously what's happened the last few months is going to be tougher for everyone now. But might knock us back a year or two and where we want to be in 10 years' time. But hopefully we'll keep going the right way. And no. So like I said, last season was great, and from perspective of how I thought it would be going into the season, we couldn't have been happier.
So in terms of talking of Potter's Corner, obviously won the Welsh National, and it was going to be all roads to Aintree. The Virtual National did come about, and he won that, which is obviously a good indicator for the race itself, as we've seen down the years. Was there a somewhat bittersweet reaction to that, knowing that how the Nationals panned out after the Virtual National? Was there a somewhat bittersweet reaction to that, knowing he could have run well?
No, not at all. No, I got 2 lovely children at home, and we won the Welsh National, and I would have taken out the start of the season. So no, not at all. We enjoyed every minute of the Virtual National, and that was great. We had great publicity from that. So no, not at all. It was brilliant, and obviously Jack was allowed to ride him. They bent a few rules for Jack to ride him in the race, and now it was great. No, nothing at all. No negatives from that. It was great. It was seemed to be a big country thing. A lot of people were behind it. People were speaking to me about it who had no interest in racing. So it's just the way it happened, the profile we got and the coverage on television at the time, when there was mostly rubbish on the telly. So it's brilliant. It's not great.
So in terms of next season, of course, there's the Beach Chase coming up in December, which sort of falls around the same time as the Welsh National. So would there potentially be a chat with the owners to see which route you might go down? Is it a potential trial for the National with the Beach Chase, or maybe go back to Chepstow again after Christmas and look to defend your crown before going on to Liverpool next year?
That's a real tough one now. That keeps my mind occupied. That's the last few months. So sit down with the owners there when we get a chance, but a lot of them will presume we go back to Chepstow for the Welsh National. But he's really deadly around Chepstow. He loves it round there. He won a bumper there, won over hurdles round there, and then he's won twice over hurdles round there. Then he won the Welsh National, so he obviously loves the place. But it depends how serious the boys want to take the Grand National, and if the main target going into next year is the Grand National, then I'm not 100% sure that the Welsh National will be the route to go down. The Veterans Chase at Sandown probably be an easier race, and that's $100,000 chase in its own right, and obviously the Beecher Chase then, whether you want to have a practice over the fences, I'm not sure that's essential. Some horses, could have a better effect going their first time. It would be my personal opinion. But there's three options there, and he could only run in one of the three because of the dates they come in and around. He couldn't run in two of the three or three of the three. He could only run in one of those races. So that's a decision we need to make. And I'm not sure if we run more fences or hurdles until then. He'll have to qualify for the Veterans Final. So we'll need to run the Veterans Chase somewhere. So we'll sit down and see. We'll see. Try and make the right decision anyway.
So in terms of the course itself, did you think that Potter's Corner would have taken to the fences? I mean, they're not obviously as demanding as they once were. They've been altered for safety reasons, of course. But would you have been confident you'd have got around and been in contention during the race?
Yeah, I wouldn't have before last season, but he looked like a completely different horse last season. It's amazing how he's improved. He's 10-year-old, and like I said, his last 6 or 7 runs over fences, he's taken a height every single run. He's gone up in the weights his last 7 chases, he's gone up in the weights each time. I think he's won 4 or 5 of them and fallen twice. But when he fell, he went up in the weights as well. So the handicapper obviously took the view that when he fell twice, he was nearly going to win the race. So yeah, we'll see.
So in terms of your other horses as well, we have to mention Limited Reserve, another horse who won a couple of big races during the season, most notably at Sandown. The way he jumped his totals last time, could he be a horse in the future who could make a very good staying chaser potentially?
He could, yeah. He's not very young, but he hasn't got masses of mileage. He didn't miss all of last season with the leg, but I run him 3 times on the flat and give him a little run at Haydock one day, because that was the back end of the season because he had a touch for leg. So I was mindful that I didn't really want to give him 2 full years off. And then he come back in this season. It took him 2 or 3 runs to sharpen up, and then he was deadly. Then he won over 2 mile 3 at Taunton. Nick Schofield rode him, and amazing. Then he won $100,000 hurdle, unbelievable, over 3 mile in bottomless ground. And I don't think he's ever run over 2.5 mile before. And he won over 3 mile at Sandown on one of the stiffest tracks in the country, Sandown. So that could open up a few more options now. And I think he's only on about 133 now, so that would be a mark that he's won off before. So I'm not sure which route we go down now, because he's brilliant around Haydock. Seems to love it around Haydock. He's my first ever runner. I put him away for 4 or 5 months, I think, and to run him in a final, $50,000 final, and to be my first ever runner as a licensed trainer. And he got beat to head that day when he came off. But that was over 2 mile at Haydock. And then he won twice there over 2 mile 3 on bottomless ground. James Bowen rode in both races on ITV. And so he could go back there for, I always get the name of the race wrong, the old fixed brush race. We run Potter's Corner, and this year it's the 3 mile, I forget the name of it, $100,000 hurdle. So he could go to Haydock for that race I think it's in November. Maybe I've run over hurdles before then, or take a view that at his age now, we either go chasing now or we never go chasing. So we'll sit down with the lads there and decide whether we kick on and go chasing with him and see how that develops. He wouldn't be a big strapping horse, and he was a very good hurdler, so he wouldn't be 100% guaranteed that he'll be a natural chaser. But he's a very clever horse, and he's got plenty of gears. Like I said, with him winning over 3 mile now and winning over 2. So he does travel well through his races. So that'll give him chance. That'll give him chance of jumping the fences. So we'll, like I said, try and make a decision now, obviously before the start of the season, whether we go straight chasing or whether we stick to hurdles for that Haydock race and then take a view after that.
So in terms of another horse, or Cap de Nord, a big improver last season. One was part of your three-legged treble at Fakenham and ran a good race at Sandown last time out. Is he a horse who you still hope could be improvement in for next season as well, after his good run at Sandown last time over 3 miles?
Yeah, I thought he looked a good horse this year. He was disappointing at Sandown, I thought, but that was only 6 days after Fakenham, and probably shouldn't have run him. He was a couple of pound out of the weight, and the Fakenham would be 6 or 7 hour drive for us. And that journey in itself, and then going back to Sandown then only 6 days after. So I'd be surprised if Sandown, that was his true run-in. But before that, before Fakenham, I thought he looked like a real good horse on good tracks. Newbury run first time out, he finished 5th of 16, I think, or 18. Then he went to Ascot, finished 3rd of 14, I think it was. Then he went back to Then he went to Sandown to finish in the first 4 again in quite a good race. And he was looking like a real good progressive horse then. And on good tracks. And then he went to Fakenham then and won and made quite hard work of it. The race probably didn't go to suit. He got bumped around a few times. But he does look I thought he looked a better horse last year on a bigger, better track. So I'd be really disappointed if he doesn't end up being a little bit better than his rating, than his official rating at the moment. But he's won his 40, 50 grand in prize money the year before last, and he did his job last year. Then we mapped him out for the Fakenham race really, and he duly obliged, and he was a 3rd winner on the day, so he did his job again last year. But hopefully he'll progress now this year by a good sire, Voidenor, and he's by a good farm. He's a few brothers there who are 135, 140 horses, so you'd hope that he progress into that, hopefully.
And just finally, before we finish this up, we've got the month of July, for when jump racing is scheduled to come back. Is it going to be all action ready to go as soon as we get the word for you, or is it going to be one of those things where you're just going to try and slowly build into it again before carrying on through the winter?
No, we'll be ready to go. We'll have 10 or 12 horses there, and hopefully it'll be racing in July, but there's. If that turns into August, then so be it. But we'll have horses ready to run as soon as racing starts. It's nice to go down the yard in the mornings and ride a handful of horses out. So they'll be ready when racing starts. And now we look forward to getting back on track and seeing all my all the stable staff at the races, my colleagues and friends. And then hopefully it won't be too long then before the owners are allowed to come and watch the horses as well.
I mean, do you think it's going to have some sort of a strange feeling to the race? And we've seen in France where they have to wear masks, and it's almost a bit of a surreal feel to it, where nobody's really allowed to do anything other than get on the horse, ride the horse, look after the horse, and take to the races. So do you think that's going to be a somewhat surreal feeling for you when we do get the green light to go back racing again?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not just a situation where we've obviously the whole country's been put in, so. Like I said, it'd be great to get back to a little bit of normality, and which obviously involves going racing, seeing your horses run, and even owners will take that as a plus. They can watch your horse on TV, something to look forward to, go to bed in the night, and look forward to the horse running the next day. So that's just something to cheer people up a little bit, and obviously if they can prove now that it's been proven that that they can adhere to all the rules and can be safe, then. Hopefully things will work out now. We wish all the people on the flat the best of luck. Hopefully they'll get started soon. And they've obviously had to wait a while now, and I expect they've been itching to go. But like I said, the position we've all been put in, we just need to everyone's needed to wait, and we wait for all the guidelines to come through then to what we do at the races. But I'll probably end up going racing on my own when we go, so just be me. I'll head off to the races with a couple of horses each meeting, and do everything myself to start with, and then hopefully then when things get a little bit safer and everything, then Clive can come along with me, then the two of us can go together.
Well, brilliant, Chris. I was going to stop the recording there, just make sure it all goes through. I don't want to lose it again like last time, so I'll just